Have you ever whispered that little lie to yourself? I can just do it tomorrow. Or maybe, I'm still young, what's the rush? We scroll through social media for just 5 more minutes. But when we finally look up, 2 hours have vanished. We have big dreams, learning a new language, starting a business, or finally getting in shape. But when push comes to shove, we choose the warm, comfortable bed over our running shoes. If you see a reflection of yourself in that description, this video was made exactly for you. Today I'm going to tell you a story about a brilliant young boy who was suffering from a terminal illness. It's called laziness. This story didn't just change his destiny. It might just change the way you look at your watch the moment this video ends. Before we dive in, if you have ever procrastinated on a task until it came right down to the wire, confess right now by hitting that like button. Let's see how many members of the procrastination club we have here. Once upon a time, in a peaceful little town, lived a young man named Aditya. Now, Aditya wasn't incapable. On the contrary, he was incredibly smart, sharp, and full of brilliant ideas. But Aditya had an invisible enemy that followed him everywhere: the habit of procrastination. When his parents reminded him to study, Aditya would smile and say, "There's plenty of time. I'll hit the books tomorrow." When friends invited him to train for a sports tournament, he'd say, "Maybe next week." And just like that, one tomorrow turned into hundreds of tomorrows. 3 years flew by in the blink of an eye. The result? While his friends moved forward, got good grades, and succeeded, Aditya was stuck running in place, failing his exams miserably. Aditya was crushed. He asked himself, "Why am I failing if I'm so smart?" One day, hearing that a wise sage was passing through town, a man rumored to hold the secrets of success, Aditya decided to find him. He found the sage meditating under a massive ancient tree. Aditya bowed his head and said, "Master, I am constantly falling behind my peers. I feel like a failure. Please help me." The sage opened his eyes, looking at Aditya with compassion, but also sternness. "Your problem is not a lack of intelligence, my son. Your problem is that you do not understand the value of time. You live as if you have an infinite treasure chest, but in reality, you are throwing your gold coins into the sea one by one." Then, the sage told Aditya a story that I believe will be a wake-up call for anyone currently wasting their youth. The sage began. Long ago, a kind-hearted king ran into an old school friend. This friend was now poor, in tattered clothes, and constantly complaining about his bad luck. The king asked, "How did your life end up like this?" The friend replied, "I don't know, Your Majesty. Everyone says I'm useless. I apply for jobs, but I get rejected because they say I never finish tasks on time." The king thought for a moment and decided to help. "All right, I will give you a chance to change your life today. Listen closely. From now until sunset, you are allowed to enter my royal treasury. You can take anything you want: gold, silver, gems, as much as you can carry. But remember this: when the sun sets, the palace gates will close forever." The poor friend was overjoyed. He ran home as fast as his legs could carry him to tell his wife. His wife heard the news and urged him, "Oh my God, this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Go now, honey, the sun is already high." But he looked at the lunch his wife had just set on the table and smacked his lips. "What's the rush? There are still hours before sunset. I'm starving right now, and how can I carry heavy gold on an empty stomach? Let me eat a full meal first." After stuffing himself, the food coma hit hard. He looked outside at the blazing sun and thought, "It's too hot to walk right now. It'll just drain my energy. The sun won't set for a long time. I'll just take a quick nap, gather my strength, and then I'll carry even more." And just like that, He fell into a deep sleep for 2 solid hours. When he startled awake, it was late afternoon. He grabbed a sack and hurried toward the palace. But halfway there, feeling the lingering heat, he started to feel tired again. He saw a huge tree with inviting, cool shade. A gentle breeze blew past. His lazy nature kicked in again, and he thought, the treasure isn't going anywhere. I'll just rest under this tree for a moment to cool down. Then I'll keep going. It's not too late. And once again, the comfort and the breeze lulled him into a second sleep. This time, he slept like a log. When he finally jerked awake, the sky had turned a deep, fiery red. The sun was setting. Panic set in. He jumped up and ran for his life toward the palace. He ran faster than he had ever run before. But just as he arrived, gasping for air, bam! The heavy palace gates slammed shut right in front of his nose. The guards looked at him coldly and said, "Time is up. The sun has set." The man stood there, clutching an empty sack, weeping in regret. He lost the chance to become the richest man in the kingdom, not because he was unlucky, but because he underestimated the speed of time and overestimated his own laziness. Did that story give you goosebumps? If you've ever missed an opportunity because you thought, I've still got plenty of time, just like that man, comment the number 1 down below. Don't be shy, we're all learning here. Aditya heard this story and broke out in a cold sweat. He realized he was that man. The sage smiled and said, "My son, time waits for no one. Once it passes, it is gone forever." But how do we manage time in a modern world full of distractions? Here, I want to share a classic lesson often taught by philosophy professors called the jar of life. Imagine your life is an empty jar. First, you fill it with golf balls or large rocks. These represent the most important things: family, health, passion, and the people you love. If everything else was lost and only these remained, your life would still be full. Next, you pour in pebbles. They fill the spaces between the golf balls. These are things like your job, your house, your car. They are important and make life comfortable, but they aren't everything. Finally, you pour in sand. The sand fills every tiny remaining crack. The sand represents the small stuff: doom scrolling on TikTok, watching TV shows, meaningless gossip, or lying on the couch. What's the lesson? If you put the sand into the jar first, spending your time on trivial things, there will be no room left for the pebbles or the golf balls. If you spend your whole day gaming or sleeping in like the man in the story, you won't have time to build a career or care for your family. And in another version of this story, the professor pours a can of beer into the jar that is already full of sand. A student asks, "What does the beer represent?" The professor smiles and says, "It just goes to show, no matter how full your life is, there's always room for a couple of beers with a friend." So, are you prioritizing golf balls or sand in your life? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you find this video helpful, don't forget to share it with that one friend who is always late. We often think a year is long and a second is too short to matter. But let me tell you the true value of time through the eyes of those who lost it. To realize the value of 1 year, ask a student who failed a grade and has to repeat it. To realize the value of 1 month, ask a mother who gave birth prematurely and watches her baby in an incubator every day. To realize the value of 1 minute, ask the person who just missed the last train home. To realize the value of 1 second, ask the person who just avoided a fatal accident by a hair. And to realize the value of 1 millisecond, time is incredibly fair. Every morning, the bank of time deposits 86,400 seconds into your account. There is no balance carried over to the next day. If you don't use it, it's deleted. You cannot borrow from tomorrow. Here is one last calculation to help you visualize how finite this is. It's the story of the 1,000 marbles. Let's assume we live to be about 75 years old. If you multiply 75 years by 52 weeks, we have about 3,900 Saturdays in an entire lifetime. If you are currently 25 years old, you have already spent over 1,300 Saturdays. If you are 55, you only have about 1,000 Saturdays left. Imagine you have a clear jar with 1,000 marbles in it. Every Saturday that passes, you throw one marble away. As you watch the marbles disappear from the jar, you will start to focus on what really matters. You will stop procrastinating. You will want to use this week's marble to do something meaningful instead of sleeping in. Back to our boy, Aditya. After hearing the sage's wisdom, he changed completely. He deleted the useless apps, he woke up at 5 a.m., and he planned every hour of his day. He stopped saying tomorrow. The result? A few months later, from being at the bottom of the class, he rose to the top and eventually became a successful man, respected by everyone. My friends, laziness is like a painkiller. It makes you feel comfortable immediately, but it is silently killing your dreams. Don't wait until you feel like it to do the work. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't want to do it. Don't be like the poor man in the story, standing outside the closed gates of success just because he fell asleep in the shade. Your gate to the treasury is open right now. The sun hasn't set yet. Get up and take action. If this video gave you even a tiny spark of motivation, please help me spread it by sharing it with the person you care about most. More importantly, write down in the comments one thing you commit to doing today. No more delays. For example, read 5 pages, work out for 15 minutes, call mom. I'll be down there hearting your comments to cheer you on. Don't forget to hit subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss the next inspiring story from my channel. Thank you for spending your valuable time, your greatest asset, to watch this video. Remember, time is free, but it's priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. Once you've lost it, you can never get it back. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.